and they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say that. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
YouTube Sim Nation, what's up? This is Logan Oren. I wanted to be able to put this video out a while back, but I've been sick and I've had a really bad sore throat and I couldn't even talk. It hurt so bad I couldn't talk. I just kept my mouth shut. Wouldn't talk to my wife. I'd write down whatever I needed to say, but now I'm feeling a little bit better and I can talk about what I've wanted to talk about, for a good while. And a lot of things have been going on, and it seems like, the community's been a little preoccupied. I know everybody has their own things that they're doing with their in their own personal lives, and especially with the whole next gen console issue with E3 and all that junk that's going on. And so I know that probably a lot of you have been caught up, and I know that I have been as well. But this video today is kind of a response to a video that I watched a few weeks ago, and this was put out it was called Here's My Stance, Take It or Leave It, and I'm going to try to put a link down in the bottom so that you can see this video in its entirety. This is a video made by SimFBallCritic, and I watched this, I listened to this video, and afterwards I was enraged. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, some of the highlights of his video, of his comments, and I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I just want to focus on some of the comments that were made, which flat out shows what the intentions of the Sim Standard either is or what their intention is not. So I'm going to let you hear some of the things that he said, and I'm going to try not to play them out of context. And SimFBall, if you hear this and you think I'm using it I'm playing these comments out of context, then let me know, and I will definitely fix whatever the issue is. But that's why I'm going to try to put the link in the bottom, so if you haven't heard it, you can go back and you can hear what's being said in full context. But there are some very scary, I don't want to call them scary, but there are some very telltale things that were said in this video. And so I'm going to try to keep this short so that you don't, you're not listening for, 20-30 minutes.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started, man. I don't want to hold you guys too long, but I'm going to go ahead and make this one and done video. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. You guys know I don't get into the back and forth. I don't get into the YouTube wars and the diss videos and calling people out of their name and doing all these comments back and forth. I don't really do that. I've been on YouTube for 4 years. There may have been a few times that I've commented with some guys and then I just left it alone, or I don't know, I may have made a video referencing a situation before, but generally I don't get into that because it's pointless, nor will I start doing that now.
Okay, I agree, with what you said, and I think that a lot of bickering that goes back and forth between people is, it is pointless. But there's a difference between debating issues and pointless squabble. And when people are putting out comments that are just poking fun or calling names or things like that, that's completely useless. But what I'm going to address is that there's a bigger issue than just people going back and forth.
But I think I do owe it to the community for you to hear my thoughts and opinion. I would be robbing my subscribers or whoever else is eager to listen to not give any opinion. So I said, hey, let's do this one video. And that's it. You'll never see another one like it. You'll never see me reference anything that I reference here in this video again. Nor will you see me comment on any videos, Twitter, etc., that is referencing these type of issues.
So here's the problem. You have now put yourself in a position where you cannot be held accountable for what you say. You have just said that you will no longer make any comments regarding this video. You're not going to say anything about it. No one's going to hear anything about you. So if you say something that's not true in this video, or if you say something that's problematic in this video, then you are going to refuse to answer it. You're not going to hold yourself accountable from what you say. That's a problem.
I am done with that. So let's just jump right into them. First of all, what is my stance? This is a question that people are pondering upon. They want to know what my stance is, or they're telling me my stance has changed. Now I'm going to answer that question, and also I'm going to explain to you why the stance may seem different. Though it is the same, I'm going to explain to you why it looks different. My stance is I'm in quest for the best football game possible. I want a pure replication, a pure simulation of the sport. That's what I want. I don't care what company gives me that. If EA Sports can do that, I'll tip my hat. I don't care how long it has taken. I can't do anything about the past. I've voiced my frustrations many times, still do. But I have to deal with the current time. I would love for competition to come back. I would love to see a 2K football game right now. I would love to see a 989 football game, which we all know would be a Sony football game. I would love it. I would love to see a merger. Maybe 2K Sports and Backbreaker. Would love that. And when those games come out, guess what? I'll be making videos showing their gameplay, as well as giving them feedback if needed about what they can do to improve. Same thing I've always done.
So that being said, you would love to see this competition come back. But what if competition does come back? Where is your loyalty going to be? Is your loyalty going to be to your stance, which you said what you want to be represented in a football game, or is your loyalty going to be to EA? Are you going to continue to be a game changer with EA, or are you going to then branch out and do the same kind of work that you do with EA with any other company? And would you even be able to do that? Do you think that EA would allow you to continue to be a game changer if you held the same position? I'm not going to call it a job, but that you held the same position as a game changer. Would EA allow you to do that? You say that you don't care, that you want competition to come back, but because you have aligned yourself with EA, what happens if competition does come back? You've already bedded yourself up with this particular company. What are you going to do?
So why did I get down with EA as far as taking a game changer position? And let me correct my my wording there. It's not a position, though a lot of people seem to elaborate on that. They call it a job and they say I work for them. I got to work tomorrow morning. The last time I checked, I'm not going to Orlando, Florida. I don't get a dime from EA Sports. I don't. That's for the record. I don't get paid for this. Yeah, I get some perks, by being able to go down and things like that. But other than that, I don't get anything from it monetarily. So I don't understand that concept. And people are saying, well, now you can't say certain things, and they did a good job by bringing you in because now you're on a hush. As if I could really affect EA's pockets.
So if you can't affect anything, if you all cannot make any effect or take any effect on their pockets, why are you there? Answer that. Why are you there? What did you expect to do? What kind of impact did you expect to do? If you're saying that you could not make any impact or any effect on their pockets, whatever that really means, but if you can't really make any effect on them, why are you there?
True. I share your frustrations with Madden. I go to war all the time with the devs, and I'm using the wrong wording there. Not go to war, but what I'm saying is I vent to them all the time about, man, it should be further along. And they understand that. That's all I can do is offer you guys the truth.
That's what we do. That's what we do on YouTube. We vent. That's what you were doing before. You vented. Why'd you need to be a game changer to vent? If that's all you can do, if that's what you do, when you say you go to war, you just vent, you could have done that, you could have done that without being a part of their organization.
The guys who are there now get it, and they have the plan to get us the game we want.
I'm a very big horror movie buff, and I've always wanted to find the next horror movie that would kind of give me those chills, to make that feeling, crawl up the spine. And I finally found something that would do that. And I give a lot of thanks to Versus, who put the video up, pretty much exposing Coach Ruckus and the fanboyism that is he. But I watch, whenever I want to get that little that eerie feeling, I watch that video. Because it is scary. It is scary on the level of whatever you call it. And on one of the comments on that video, the guy says that what's his name? Ian Cummins says that they have a 3-year plan, and that they're always working with a 3-year plan. And I feel that it's just flat out shady that the new guy comes in after they let Ian Cummins go. The new guy comes in, and what is the same verbiage that they use? 3-year plan. That's what that's what we have. That's what EA gives us. So they don't have a plan to give us what they want. They have a plan, which is the same plan that they've been following for, since the beginning. A 3-year plan. A 3-year plan to get to a certain benchmark. Then another 3-year plan to give us another compartment. Another 3-year plan to give us another compartment. They're excited. They're excited. And like I said in a video a long time ago, you know what? They're a multi-million-dollar company, and people know how to act excited to get the consumers excited. They know how to act around people to influence your mind. You act like these people, like EA, that they're the guy selling CDs out the back of his car. These people are seasoned, manipulators, businessmen. This is what they do. And you think that just because they act excited, that they may seem genuine, that's really how they are. And if you really believe that, I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say.
We can't do anything about the past.
See, now, yeah, you can't do anything about the past, but what you can do is you can remember the past. And you guys are forgetting the past. I know that there is a new head in the project, in the Madden project, even though everybody else is the same. I know that there's a new, figurehead, but nothing else has changed. Nothing else has changed.
But attacking each other makes no sense. What does that do? Some of you guys can't even clean your language up in your video. Do you think they're going to listen to that? I mean, let's just be honest. Who's listening to that?
You know who was listening? EA was listening. EA was listening to all of the quote-unquote what you call, bickering and the bantering back and forth. They heard all of that. Because if they didn't listen to all that, you wouldn't be a game changer. But they heard all of that. So yeah, a lot of it is pointless. Because it doesn't really come to an end. But apparently there was enough of it going on. There was enough back and forth and enough anger that people had in bashing, saying anything that they wanted and they felt that they needed to say about EA in order for them to take notice. So, it's not right to have a foul, filthy mouth while you're trying to, get your point across. And it's not the most professional thing to do. But you know what? EA heard all of that. If you go to EA and you are sitting there in front of them and you're popping your mouth off, yeah, they're not going to listen to you. But nobody is in that situation where they can be in front of EA, so all they had were the videos, and they heard it.
There is no unity. And I don't think there will ever be a unity to a certain degree because everyone has a different way of doing things, which is fine. But where the unity could come from is we all respect what everyone else is doing. That's how you unify the community. It's not so much of us doing the same thing, because that's pointless as well.
What kind of junk is that? To do the same thing is pointless. How does that sound? So you're saying that if we're doing different things, that we're going to get, if we're moving in opposite directions, that we're going to accomplish our goal. But if we're moving in the same direction, we're doing the same thing, that's pointless? Come on. Come on.
So my point is, if we really want to unify this situation, support everyone's movement. Stop going at individual people.
Why would I support your movement? Why would you support mine when we don't agree? I don't know what kind of person you are. I don't know, if faith has any place in your life, but, like it says, like the word says, how can two walk together if they can't even agree? How are you going to support me if we don't agree? Why would I support you if we don't agree? You can't. That's what's pointless. Because if we don't agree with the same thing, then, or we don't agree with the same, or having the same outcome and the same result, or have the same stance, then it's counterproductive. I'm rooting for you and supporting you to succeed, and at the same time rooting for me to fail and for my stance to fail. That makes no sense.
That is ignorant. And that's very immature, and that's very high school. I didn't even do that in high school, so I'm not even going to say what it's really like. Y'all can catch the hint. No, I'm going to say it. That's very female-like. Let's just be real.
You know what? I hate to say it, but, you know, I only hear a few people talking about, you know, keeping your name out your mouth and not calling people out by name and things like that. But you know what? The only people that I hear, you know, ever making comments like that are women, are girls, high school girls. You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold you accountable by what you say. And you, as a man, needs to hold your, or is to you need to be able to be accountable. Now, you know what? Going back to you know, to what the word says, that you are to always be able to give an account, to give an answer for what you believe. And if you can't even answer, if you can't even give an answer to something that's as simple and meaningless in the world, how are you going to be able to give an answer about something that's as, you know, on the spiritual level? But you're sitting here saying that you will never comment on this video again. You have already made yourself. You took the coward way out. And I'll say that, I'll say it, that you took the coward's way out. Because a real man will allow himself to be held accountable. Otherwise, you can sit back and you can say whatever you want to say. Whether it's true or not, whether it's valid or not, you can say whatever you want to say and then just say, you know what? You know, I'm going to say this one time and one time only, and I'm never going to say it. I'm never going to speak on it again. So you have done nothing but be cowardly. You haven't done anything. You haven't stepped up and been a man and say, you know what, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to say anything else about it. And I'm going to drop it at that. You haven't done anything spectacular. You have made yourself to be unaccountable. So now nobody can check you on what you say. Or people can check you, but you will never, you're not going to be able to give an account to what your stance is. So if someone checks you on something that you say, then it then will just become someone who's just ranting and raving or being a troll without the other viewpoint. Hold yourself accountable. If somebody questions you, or they want to, or they, you know, tell you, look, you're wrong. You need to prove that you are right. You may not feel that you have to, but you know what? That's your responsibility. To your fans, you know, to your subscribers rather, that's your responsibility. How are you going to tell your subscribers that, you know, that who some of them look up to you, that you're going to say one thing, but you're not going to hold yourself accountable to what you say? That you're not going to feel like you have the need to answer to what you say. That's a problem. That's a huge problem, and it's cowardly. Forget the female-ish, you know, going back and forth and arguing, calling people names, which I've already said, you know, yeah, that's pointless. And it really doesn't get you very far. But when people are trying to have when people have genuine questions and have genuine concerns, it's never pointless. to comment back, to have the mutual respect to comment back, instead of just trolling them out or calling them a troll or calling them female-ish or high schoolish.
Like I said, I'm saying my piece, and this is all you're ever going to hear from me.
And that's it. I'm gonna say my piece. That's all you're ever gonna hear. But there's more coming up. The big one's coming up, and I haven't played that yet. So, you know, the big deal's coming up. Are you gonna be accountable for what you're about to say? We'll see.
And now, you know, you're trying to start this whole movement against us. I ain't gonna say us, but you're starting this whole movement like, you know, we owe you an explanation if we don't let you back to the sim standard. I don't understand that. My question to you would be, what's the motivation behind coming back? I mean, is it to be heard by the devs? If that's the case, that's already been accomplished. Is it to reach the masses? I don't know.
You know what? J Music just covered this issue. What was your motivation? You know, shout outs to J Music. But Sim Standard, what was your motivation? Was it just to be heard by the devs? Because you said that's already been accomplished. So was your motivation just to be heard by the devs? Or was it actual change?
My point is, you could do that with your own movement. You know, you could create a channel or another collective channel and do that yourself.
You know what? You know what? There was a movement. We all had a movement. And we all had a channel where we all pretty much spoke the same language, and it was called the Sim Standard. But the kicker's coming up. The real deal's coming up right here.
I know people deem the Sim Standard as, you know, the voice of the community, which, you know, rightfully at one time we may have been.
So y'all may have not heard that. So I'm going to replay it again.
I know people deem the Sim Standard as, you know, the voice of the community, which, you know, rightfully at one time we may have been.
So you're saying that people used to look at you as the voice of the community, and at one point in time you may have been. So what you're saying is that now you are no longer the voice of the community. You don't represent the community anymore. What are you? Who do you represent? EA. Who are you the voice of? EA. That's why the push to regain control of the Sim Standard channel is the way that it is. That's why. Because you, out of your own mouth, have just said that at one point in time, the Sim Standard was the voice of the community, but it no longer is. So all this together comes to a straight halt right there with the words out of your mouth. But why are you game changers if you, one, stated that you couldn't, that you guys knew that you could not affect EA's pockets? Number one, why are you game changers if all you can do is vent to them with no influence from your words or your videos and critiques that you send to them? Why are you game changers? Because it seems that seems pretty pointless to me. And again, this is why the push to have control back over of the Sim Standard is there. We don't. I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of the people don't want for Apex to, or Ryan Moody to join back with you in the Sim Standard. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that want for them to run the Sim Standard, because it's clear what your motivation was. Your motivation was to just be heard by the developers. Your motivation was to get your perks that go along with being a game changer. That you guys were sitting around one day and then you got a call, from Electronic Arts, saying they want to bring you down, talk about the game, and you're like, boys, we coming up. And you guys, capitalized on that. And if that's what you wanted, that's good for you. But don't continue to ride on the coattails of what the movement was, and don't ride on the coattails of the community, because that, like I've always said, this is what we see. We see the change in stance. We see the change in passion from you. The change in urgency from you. And that's why the concern is always there. So, what are you going to do? What is your purpose for what you do? You were in the right place at the right time to be able to take advantage of the situation. Because if you really do care about the sim gamers, and if you really care about the community that you're not the voice of anymore, then you would let it go. You all would let it go. But you won't do that, because if you let the Sim Standard go, bye-bye free game. Bye-bye perks. Because if nobody's listening to you, then what good are you? If there's nobody, I don't even say that, if there's nobody listening to you, because you guys don't even say anything anymore. You come out with some videos that point out some problems, and you know what? Don't say that, you talk about negative things too, because you know what? EA knows that there are negative things in their games. And they're okay with you saying some negative things about them. Because because they know that their credibility, or that your credibility would be shot if you said the game was perfect. They know that. So we understand that it's all a game. You got what you wanted, and if the community means anything to you, let it go. Now, this is the first installment. I'm going to stop here, and this is not even the biggie. It has to do with the future of gaming. And I'm talking about next gen consoles. And I wanted to piggyback on or to ride the end of this video to this issue, but you know what, this was going to be long enough, and I'm going to post this next video up, if not today, maybe tomorrow or sometime this weekend, but I'm really really disturbed on that, and the community's been very quiet about it, because it affects what sim gamers what we want and what we need. So, you know what, SimFBall, hold yourself accountable. These are things that you've said. Whether or not you respond to them, that's on you. You can take the cowardly approach, and I'm not gonna comment on it. Yeah, I know. I said that we weren't the voice of the community anymore. I know I said that, but I don't have to answer to myself. I don't have to answer to my subscribers who are the community, who think that you guys are the voice of the community. So it's up to you. This is Logan Oren, aka the Troll for Truth, because you know what? The truth should mean something.